Well, kind of a bummer that this is happening after we presumably have enough money for it, but that's fine.
Well, I don't know, save your money.
77.
Oh, wow.
You're matched for level.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch,
It was
ouch.
less than half.
Superb did not care for that too much.
Do you have anything that gets you... Oh, Glygars are in the battle too.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
That's going to take a
Oh,
while.
wow.
I figured it might do a little more than that, but all right. You know what? Let's just do this, and then we'll start throwing balls.
You got anybody who's got better typing, or...
I mean, I don't want to kill it, so...
Well, yeah, but just to resist. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a crit.
Yeah, he's got a high chance of crit for
oh, wait,
both
this
the
isn't
moves.
a Nuzlocke. In my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, Rick.
No, oh,
Rick.
fuck no.
Panic
No.
mode, dude.
This game would be much more of a challenge if you were going to Nuzlocke
Yeah.
it. That would be, like, considerably more interesting.
Involve hard grinding.
Damage
in
is
terms
a
of-
lot higher proportionally in this game than in
Trying
other
to
games.
avoid it, you would... Yeah, there's some battles where you'd just be like, oh, well, I'm fucked.
Well, the whole
Yep.
alpha like concept, where there are Pokemon that are just like what 50% better than normal.
I think that they just have a lot of... they might have some higher base stats as well, but
I believe they get a boost to their stats
They
to
get a-
come in. It's similar to Totem Pokemon from Sun and Moon.
Okay,
Sure,
so they
yeah,
get
yeah.
some boost to their stats, and they usually have an interesting move, like a coverage move of some kind. You can just run now.
Yeah.
like that you can't otherwise inherit, or that
I don't think they get illegal moves, but like moves that you would be able to teach them with TM, but there's no such thing in this world.
I see.
Yeah, there's also no breeding in this game either.
Right. So you have to catch 15 and look for a move or two that you're like, oh shit,
Right.
that's the distribution move I wanted.
Well, let's bail because we got to get claws.
Go home, buy some claws, and then come back to climb the
Yeah.
mountain. I mean, to land at the temple.
The good news is all this extra fluff right now is the second to last episode.
Yes.
This makes it
Hooray!
official. Yeah.
I'm glad I was here for the whole thing.
The whole second last episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
the whole of this episode, and I definitely didn't go pee and get Rick a soda in the meantime.
Nope. He was just
No, I haven't opened that soda yet. Now I'm a little bit worried.
he was just contemplating.
It's still sealed, Rick. There's nothing to worry about.
See, you saying that makes me feel like there might be something to worry about.
That's ridiculous. You are crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Rick, you're being crazy right
wouldn't-
now.
He wouldn't have slipped the lid off by peeling this away, emptied the soda out, filled the can with pee, carbonated it, and chilled it down to fridge temperature and resealed it. No.
It's not like you can take a tool steel syringe and insert anything into a pressure vessel and then seal the edge with a quick acting epoxy or anything like that. That's
see, like that
ridiculous.
seems like a lot of steps that you're aware of.
No, I just know that this thing isn't possible, Rick, obviously.
That's like at the end of the day at work when I'm checking all of the credit card machines for skimmers and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm looking in all the spots where you can put a skimmer."
Yeah.
They're like, "Why do you know that?" And I'm like,
what?
Because I know the deep secrets.
"Don't ask what you don't want to know."
Yeah. Are you sure you want to know the answer? The trick is to not actually use any consonants while you respond, and that really gets them to stop asking.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to know?
Just respond to anybody with
Whoop, and then you just run away.
until they stop talking to you.
If I had more coworkers who were in my same generation, then that might be a reference that they would get. Yeah, I could delele whoop at them.
You know, it's so something I've noticed recently as we have time while you're doing stuff. Gen X was realistically the first generation with like a reasonable amount of gamers.
Yeah, I guess with arcades.
Well, but no, even like, you know, in television and like Nintendo in some ways. Like when I was born in 88.
You know,
Gen X are people who were born 10, 15 years before that.
And we're playing games that were coming out.
Correct. So when
Yeah.
like the Nintendo was new for me as an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old or whatever it was.
Yeah.
it was them in their 20s. They were playing
Yeah,
the hard games on Nintendo. They were playing,
my
Pitfall
my parents bought an NES for themselves when I was 2.
Yeah.
Which would have been when like my dad was like in his late 20s, my mom was in her mid 20s.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Gen X was the first generation to grow up with games where it was like something that they could have inherited. Like when they were in high school, there were maybe Ataris. When they were in college, there were Nintendos, and Sega and Super Nintendo started to come out at the tail end of their college days and their early professional days. So Gen X was the first video game generation.
I would say for the most part, with the singular exception that in the same way that computers on a commercial level were taken kind of not super seriously until like the mid to late 80s, video games were basically not taken seriously until like almost 1990.
Well, yeah,
they were very much like a computer hobbyist.
No, with
vibe
with
more than
the-
anything
And we are,
else.
and like millennial is the first generation that grew up with games.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
with
yeah.
video
That, like,
games. Not the first generation that grew up with games. That's the Cro-Magnons.
Gen X, they were already 20 before the heyday, before the NES, before the SNES. They were 20 or 30 or,
Yeah.
35 or whatever. We grew up with them. Gen Z.
Oh, we're actually getting a thing here. A completed Pokédex at last.
Oh my gosh.
Though in a way, you could almost call this a Joanne Dex. I won't, though, because I'm taking the credit. If
It's
my name
actually going to
isn't-
be the Laventon Dex.
Remember, this isn't your accomplishment, it's mine.
You work for me.
I am the researcher, and
or-
you are my...
This is going to be credited to me, or my name isn't Dr. Laventon Poke.
I hope they don't name a town after me where a bunch of people die later.
Yeah. And of course, you had your directive, didn't you? I recall the message you received when you first fell down to this land. For some reason, I really focused on it.
That's like backronyms, because those towns were all named after colors, and
Yes.
now they're all named after people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seek out all Pokemon, was it not? It seems you've finally achieved that goal.
Mr. Cerulean and the Lavender family.
I must
The
go
Laventon.
there.
Yeah.
Mount Coronet, the Temple of Sinnoh.
See, he says Mount Coronet.
It's true, that's fair. Now, you'll find nowhere else in all of Hisui closer to the heavens. You are practically among the stars up there, as if one with the very universe.
except for
Except
great
the stars are
heaven.
way farther away.
I don't know how far
And you're still in
stars
the
are.
atmosphere.
I'm a biologist, not an astronomer.
Don't get on a flying Pokemon and fly any
I'm
higher
a
than that.
biologist, but I've never been able to get all the way up to those fireflies.
See, the funniest thing is, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, in the end of the Delta episode, you catch Rayquaza, then you Mega Evolve it and ride it into
yeah,
space
it literally
to fight
flies
Deoxys.
into stars. Yeah, you go into the heliopause.
Yep.
Yep, and you fight Deoxys in space.
Space battle.
With no real... I forget if they give you any real explanation of how you're
Deoxys,
fucking out
the
No,
there.
that's
space
fine.
DNA.
When it comes down to
Yeah.
God Pokemon, I don't care.
But you're out there also, is the thing.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
it's
Arceus...
a god Pokemon.
Yeah.
It brings along oxygen because it also has to breathe oxygen
Huh.
or something, I guess.
Or it,
I don't know.
it removes the need for oxygen to happen because
that
you're
was a
in
hell of
its
a pop,
dimension
man.
now.
Yes, you're breathing mana. Like, that's the thing. With God Pokemon, whatever. We can hand wave things. With a Squirtle, something that, like, you walk up to a river and you're like, oh, fuck, a Squirtle. Like, that shit I find... I like the realism with the actual, like, we all live with these Pokemon.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen a Tauros, either pulling a cart or just kind of walking around in a field.
Hey, that's a Tauros.
Yeah, I know what that is.
I know what that guy is.
That
what are
thing's
you
a-
doing here?
That's a
Yeah.
mad,
I mean,
angry cow.
Everybody knows a Tauros. They are very reliable. They stay on the road forever.
And you can milk them titties.
Why are you milking cars, man?
That's a Taurus.
I know
not
you're-
a Tauros. Spelled differently, Rick.
I know that Lightning McQueen is your favorite, but
You
like,
can fuck
man,
a car, but you can't milk a car.
do not fuck cars.
The D-pad does not endorse fucking cars.
I mean, which is the orifice that you would choose? The gas tank?
Oh my gosh, Peter!
Or are you going up the
there's
tailpipe?
There's a whole sketch written by Kids in the Hall called "Car Fuckers"
Oh, jeez.
from more than 20 years ago that explores that very topic.
Of course there is.
Car fuckers.
I'm just gonna blow up my starter since I'm sure that Arceus will do some stuff, but also a fighting type against something that is to start with a normal type is Not the worst idea in the world.
What's your fastest
It's just gonna
Pokemon?
pick a new type every time you switch somebody.
yes.
What's your fastest Pokemon?
My fastest one is probably level 85 Airbussin.
Airbussin just because it's level 86,
So-
or Assbat because it is a Crobat.
That's true too.
If this is not a Nuzlocke, you can use a lot more expanded strategies. And in my
Sure.
opinion, put a status move on whatever your fastest Pokemon or two are.
Status moves are not as good.
Yeah, they are
Oh, is
all
this different in
temporary in this
Arceus?
game.
They're all 3-ish turns, 2 if you
Oh,
speed
God.
them,
No.
and like sleep is chance of being too drowsy to move. It's not full on asleep.
Okay, well, I
No.
take it back then.
Yeah.
The point I was going to say,
Status
like,
moves are minimized.
get
This
a
game is
status-
mostly
do
about
this.
hit hard.
I still think a status move on Arceus off the bat is not a bad idea. Like, get a fast
How
Pokemon.
many levels did it get from an XL candy? Oh, you used
That was
them
7.
all. Okay.
That was 7.
Yeah, it was. He used multiple.
Rodrigo is a tank.
Why
Rodrigo
Airbussin
is a
you could just
tank.
take to
Why are
ridiculous
Assbat
levels.
and Bed Midler?
That's
Do you
true.
just not have higher level options?
What's that? These are
You're-
kind of
you're
my best
65s?
set. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So they're the kind of secondaries.
Well, I mean, most of the team was 60 something until a couple of candies ago.
I would
Yeah.
I would build up. I would give this to Rodrigo again. I would have
Think
as
so?
many high level Pokemons, especially the fast ones.
I mean, this
Well, Assbat would be a good choice to dump the rest
Or
of the
your
that's kind of
tankiest.
these candies are going to be worth like maybe 5 levels max.
Yeah. That one was, what,
Ooh,
2?
3.
This is small
Yeah.
candies. That's only going to be like 1 more.
Not even.
Not
yeah,
even.
yeah.
So the last thing I want to do before we
Do you have
get in there is
rares
check
or-
our moves.
How many moves do you have? Oh,
So
you can
there's the
switch.
yes,
Yeah.
there's the
Right, I
the
forgot.
farm of moves on the left, and the ones that are mastered will have the extra symbol next to.
Physical is better.
All of those are mastered, which is good.
Oh, it's 90 accuracy, right? I was like, why do I not have that?
Still, again, if you're fighting a singular Pokemon, I would lean towards status moves. If you have anything to
Again, they
suppress
really
it
do
for
not
three-
last long is the thing.
Are you saying they don't last long enough to be useful?
They use up one of your turns to do a small amount of damage if it's a damage thing for like 3 turns.
For
So like
3
a
turns.
burn is not worth spending the turn on for 3
Yeah.
turns worth of effort. It doesn't cut the
Not
attack
really.
enough. Really?
I don't even remember. Yeah, I think
Not
burn
sure-
is.
we don't know if it actually does the halving of attack.
You
still
may not even
same
do that at all at
functionality.
this point. Yeah.
Because in my opinion, I was like, whatever can paralyze, throw a paralyze. Because if you can
Yeah.
half speed the enemy, that means that you then have a chance of getting a shot with every one of your Pokemon first,
I'm trying to remember
regardless
what.
of level.
I'm trying to remember if like what the deal for paralyze even is in this game because I think that also is a little bit
It's-
different than
I mean,
normal.
it's chance of being
right,
able to hit.
special attack is my absolute shitstorm stat here.
Yeah.
And you
those.
capped it out. You gave him some stones.
Rodrigo.
Stealth rock him. Keep knocking him out of combat. and
Let's
back
get
in.
rid of double edge.
Stealth Rock is
Yeah.
different in an interesting way in this game. It is a
It's
damage
like,
over time move. It hits multiple
Oh.
times. It's spikes.
Yeah.
That
It's
that
ironically
damage.
very similar to what poison is now too, where it does stuff for a couple turns and the spikes are kind of shaken
And then
off.
it goes away.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's one more thing here, which is I want to grab any grit that I have in case anybody has some stats left to boost going in here.
May as well.
Okay, so
Nobody
Let's
on
see.
that one. No, you got options here.
Akimbo,
Yep. Highest.
absolutely. I
highest,
have
for sure.
7 speed.
Yep.
And I guess HP. I may as well make it live as
Sure.
long as I can.
Yeah, if it gets 2 turns, then. Wow, the first one you gave it was 20, and then 8, and then 6. I think.
Okay, so it does have
diminishing
like
returns makes sense.
Yeah, it's diminishing. But I was
Any
like, it
of
went up by
these go
20,
up?
and was like,
No.
holy shit. No, never mind.
Defense.
Yeah.
Akimbo literally does not have any physical moves. All right, so now I can do this. There we go.
Okay, capped out.
Airbussin makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what do I have?
wow.
Oh, I've only got 7, so I don't have a lot that I can actually do
Airbussin is
here.
low
So
effort
you could
levels.
Mac up. So yeah, but like effort levels.
Is this still a Garchomp as I understand it?
Yeah, more
Okay.
or less, yeah.
So
I'm thinking
and
attack,
speed.
yeah.
and tertiarily HP.
Yeah, I can get 1 in the HP there. And then this, which everyone's too high of a level for.
I don't understand any of the numbers, but 349 seems pretty good.
Yeah, actually, let's take a look at our summaries now. All right, so attack 337.
Wow.
Yeah, the stats in this game are bonkers. It's
Yeah,
why doing a Nuzlocke.
None of these
is
numbers make any sense.
Yeah.
Even in level 83 in a previous game would
Yeah.
not have 337 attack.
We come down here, 338 on speed, 328 on special attack
Wow.
for Bette Midler, and that's at level 65.
Glass cannon by definition.
This thing would be absolutely fucking nutso if it was a higher level.
Yep.
Technically, I could go buy rare candies, but I don't have a ton of cash.
Yeah.
They're
These
so
are
expensive.
Yeah, Aspat, much more moderate stats, but
Yeah.
if anything, I could throw Aspat out as
but a good round.
take a hit and die.
Well, sure. That's always
Airbussin, also kind of mid, all things considered, but also I don't have a ton of
never
speed
speak
down.
ill of Garchomp.
Speed down
man.
as the
Lower.
nature is a little annoying.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating.
Oh, you got the worst one like I did.
Yep.
My fucking
Kimbo with a special attack of 416.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It looks like almost a hexagon.
It's pretty goddamn close, yeah.
It's a space
And
horse.
then Rodrigo, who has almost 300 physical attack and almost 300 physical defense.
thick as balls
It's the
defensively.
space
You
horse
also got
from
a
course to
terrible
course.
nature on Rodrigo.
So
You
I'm going
don't
to
care
save.
about speed at all.
I'm going to save, and we're going to come back next time.
All
and we are going
right.
to go fight Arceus.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll see ya.
Get it.
Bye.